Hey, GP Jackknife update. This is kind of an ideas video because I haven't had a lot of time to do work. I kept throwing the breaker today with my air compressor. I don't know what was happening, but I got a new blade for my saw, which I know you guys really don't care too much about, but so I can go through the metal a lot easier now. Well, here it is. Looks the same as it did before. Wow, that was I'm sounding a little bit country there. Anyhow, this is what the plans are. I got these two pieces of metal that this was on a trampoline, and when the trampoline broke, it just so happened that it bent these two poles at the same exact angle. I've checked. They're just, this one is a hair bit longer and I need to cut a little bit off the end. I mismeasured. Actually, what happened, this one was the right size. I cut that one too short, so I'm going to have to take about an inch off of this side. But the angles are dead on, which it doesn't even have to be. I'm in your light again. Sorry, the light's all coming from that side. It's just right. So what I'm going to do is, I don't think I need it, honestly, but I want it just so it looks better. And I'm going to get it like this and have a mount. Now, I think that looks kind of cool, having this little, and I wish I could see it. Let me see here. I'm trying to stay out of the light while I film it. Anyhow, it's going to go like this, so it creates like a little square there. I'll have one of those on either side, and it sticks up about 2 inches. So what I figured I could do with that is eventually make some sort of little back mount for whatever. But I'll have those two there. Now, some of you might have already noticed this, but there is a large chopper fork sitting here. Well, I had an old fork off of this, my favorite Gary Fisher Excalibur bicycle. This thing, that's 80s right there, I do believe. And the fork for it was this guy. This is the original fork that came with it. And my dad was riding my bike one day, and he broke it for me. So, this one had a unique feature. This fork, unlike every other fork I've ever seen, and I have 2 more bikes to show you. I'm going to run out of time, I feel like. That one's carbon fiber, so it wouldn't be that way anyhow. But that fork, and you'll know what I'm talking about. That fork over there, and that fork, none of them, and even these cheap forks, none of them bolt together. This one had these nuts and it bolts together. And so I took those apart, got a whole bunch of WD because that's been in there since the 80s, and slid it out. I'm glad I saved it now. Just so happens that those holes fit perfectly. Well, I won't say perfectly. It's pretty close though. There's a little bit of play on these pipes. I've always wanted chopper handlebars. Now I figure 9.5 feet is fine and dandy, but how great would just a nice, strong 12 feet be? So if I can squeeze another 2.5 feet out of that fork by just stretching it out long or longer, longer's better, because it's so hard to ride right now. I figure what's a little bit harder. Now this is kind of a mock-up right now. So what I did is I have the thing up top. I'll have to put a couple cross braces in, probably just because I liked it. Some more brake pads. One right here, and maybe one right there. And then what I did is I took this, that's a fork, and I'll show you. I had this really old, off of a Swin, and it's a children's Swin, and it is rusty, and it was bent, and it was, hey. Turn the light off here now. Anyway, but it was off of an old bike, and I found the bike in the woods, and it wasn't a valuable Swin. It was a kid's bike, and I was like, whatever. See, it was all bent up. That was supposed to be circular, both of them. So I cut it in 2, and it didn't fit perfectly, but because it gets bigger at the ends, it slid up in here. And there isn't much play at all. There is a little bit. But once I bolt it, and if I can get my friend to tack weld it, so now the tire's on there. That actually works pretty decent. Needs the cross braces, and this is a little loose and it doesn't squeeze much. It just does it a few millimeters. So what I'll probably have to do is drill, because this is aluminum and this is steel, so I can't weld it. So I'll probably just drill a hole, keep a pin in there, and then maybe get a washer and get 1 tack, 2 tack, so then it holds it on there, and if I ever need to take it off, I can just grind those 2 tacks off. I need to get a welder. It's killing me. So there's that. Now what started all this though, and the only other thing is this thing, it sits, right now it sits about this high. That's high enough to where I can hold my feet up without it being too hard when it's riding. But I've never having to hold my feet up. So when I put the fork on, I'm guessing it's going to sit like this. This is up to my waist. And I'm like 5'10", 5'11", I think. I'm not sure. So that was not good. Anyway, so it will sit a considerably bit higher. And I need to build me a seat that comes out and flattens out, and I want it to be like a motorcycle seat, so padded, like a 4-wheeler seat. I want it like that. My idea for that is just to get some wood, get some foam. You know the drill, just making a seat. It isn't too hard. So, obviously the old fork will be scratched. Now there's going to be a lot of force, and this was a razor scooter, so I need to get this welded, and I need to get some bolts up in there, because I'm just worried that this little pivot is not going to like a chopper fork. And I'm afraid that just because it sits so high, I mean, this thing is taller than me. Well, no, it's about 2 inches shorter than me. So it's every bit of 5.5 feet tall. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to measure it out where it's at a reasonable height, because that means the bike would sit this high. So I need to measure it out at a reasonable height and cut it, and then, because the bottom is just open pipe, this is tapered up top, so I just need to measure it out so it won't be this long when it's done. This is a mock-up. But yeah, the only other thing I was doing, which is what started everything, is I got these 2 pipes, and these were the other side of the bent pipes. They bent the same exact way. It was really weird. So, but help me, that's my beautiful cut with my die grinder there. But the plan is, maybe, if anyone has an idea, I don't have a welder, so I'm going to have to use bolts. I can get my friend to tack, but I don't like to get him to weld all day long. I don't like him to have to do that. So maybe grind a bend in this like they do on bike frames, like this pipe, grind it like that so it fits over the other pipe, and get a bolt or 2 in there, and it will come out at about that angle, which brings it about 6 inches off the ground where it sits right now. I might actually, now that I have the new fork, scrap this idea, get some full pipes, because I want this to go to low as the ground till I can without jeopardizing steering. So then that goes like this, okay, and I don't have any way to hold this up. And then I get this pipe, which goes, sorry, I'm never prepared. Alright, so this pipe fits into this one, and this is a curved one. And then it will go more or less like this, so it's kind of revert, and it will be stretched out longer. It will be on the other side of the brake pad. Having to do this all one-handed is just joyous fun. There we go. Alright. So it will sit kind of like this and make this triangle kind of like a motorcycle frame, except it's actually reverse of a motorcycle frame, because it's, you see, a bike makes a triangle the other way. Anyhow, it'll be like this. I just need to get that bolted up and a bolt there. It'd really be nice if I could weld this, but hey, I don't have a welder, so not much I can do. But anyway, I have one on the other side, and then I can build my feet pegs off of that. And I think I'll mount the motor on the top, I think. But yeah, so that's the plan right now, and I have 30 seconds left, but I'm most proud of my fork, I think. So, if you ever find a fork that has this bolt together, save it. It's great chopper material, because really, if I had a welder, this would just be ridiculously easy to make compared to what it is to make a normal chopper fork. I gotta get a welder. It's just killing me, because I'm sure my Nova wants me to have a welder too. Anyhow though, that's about it. Wow, I always make 10-minute videos.